Manhattan House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan now asking a Manhattan DA senior counsel Matthew Colangelo for voluntary testimony as they investigate former President Trump's indictment last week. Alvin Bragg is accusing the GOP of harassment and intimidation after former prosecutor Pomerantz was subpoenaed last week. Joining me right now is Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson. He's the House Republican Conference Vice Chairman and member of the Judiciary and Armed Services Committees. Congressman, thanks very much for being here this morning. Tell us what your committee wants from this testimony.
Well, we want answers. You know, Alvin Bragg's case looks even weaker than any of us thought. After he made his public release of the indictment and then he did his press conference, it's now infamous for being just completely weak. I think the motions to dismiss by the Trump team are going to go forward, and they've got a great argument to make. But in the meantime, the Judiciary Committee and Congress, we have the oversight responsibility to ensure that federal funding has not been misused in this political exercise by the DA in Manhattan.
Well, I think this is a great point that you're making, but they're trying to push it back on you. And we're also hearing about other lawsuits that are right behind Alvin Bragg's lawsuit. What about Georgia? What is next for President Trump?
Well, we'll have to see. Look, they're obviously out to get him. We know that many of these Soros-funded DAs have made this their political aim. Many of them ran as part of their platforms when they ran for office that they would get Trump. They named the defendant. They identified the defendant before there was even any alleged crime. So I think a lot of that is apparent on its face. I think the American people are watching all of this. And ultimately, the great threat, Maria, at the end of the day, is the people's faith in our institutions, our system of justice itself. And that's what so deeply concerns us. You know, people see that the DOJ and these DA's offices have been weaponized. That's not what our system is about. And I think it erodes a lot of the confidence that people have in that itself. And at the end of the day, that's bigger than Trump or any individual. It's about maintaining our republic. That's what's at stake.
Yeah, and that's why people question everything, because they don't believe the federal agencies because of what we've seen. They lied to us about the Russia collusion story. They lied to us about 2 impeachments. They lied to us about the Biden laptop. They lied to us about the origins of COVID-19. And now we're waiting for an economic issue to take hold. We've got House Speaker Kevin McCarthy speaking out, sending a warning that people should be concerned. Because I sat down with the president, Kevin McCarthy says, on February 1st, and the president never wants to meet. I'm very concerned about the debt ceiling, McCarthy says. Congressman, where are we on this as the U.S. dollar is now down for 4 weeks in a row?
Yeah, it's deeply concerning to us in the House. We desperately need leadership from the White House. We don't get that, as you know. The president has effectively moved away from the negotiating table and suggested that he's not interested in doing that. It's a huge dereliction of duty, and the stakes are so high. So what Speaker McCarthy has been trying to accomplish is a real negotiation. I think it's incumbent upon the White House to do that. If they care about the economy, the stability of the dollar, the projection of strength abroad, the president desperately needs to come to the table. We are counting on that. We are not going to default on the country's debts. That's not going to happen. But we need to make an agreement on the budget going forward, and we have to control federal spending. That's what's causing inflation, as we all know.
He's not going to do it. So what are the chances that you just get a clean debt ceiling and you raise the debt ceiling with no strings attached?
I don't know what the final outcome is going to be. The devil's going to be in the details. I can tell you we are not going to default on the country's debts, okay? But what we have to do, what we have a responsibility to do, Maria, and you know that, is to change the trajectory of spending going forward. We cannot continue on the path that we're on right now with a $31.5 trillion federal debt, with all of the constraints that are upon us. The government cannot grow any further. We can't spend any more. We have to change these habits. The White House's approach is exactly the opposite thing. No surprise there. They want to continue to grow government and continue to spend more and tax more.
Yeah.
That is not the solution. It defies basic economics.
Real quick on the Pentagon assessing the validity of these photos leaked online, purported to be classified military documents related to foreign intelligence. Congressman, have you been told anything? Who leaked this?
Well, we need to find that out. It looks to be a serious breach, and if it is true, and these do look to be valid on the surface, it's a real concern. Some of the initial allegation or concern is that it may have come from the Pentagon itself. So we're going to let the DoD and the DOJ work through their investigations, but we are watching that very closely. This is serious stuff.
Right, this from the same group that told us the Chinese spy flight did not send data back to the CCP in real time, which we learned was, in fact, what was going on with that surveillance balloon. Congressman, thanks very much. We're going to keep a spotlight on all of it. Mike Johnson joining us this morning. Thank you, sir.